Let's do a recap of Lucifer Season 1. Lucifer Morningstar, the retired ruler of hell, owns a high-end nightclub named Lux in Los Angeles. When a pop star he had helped become successful is murdered in front of him by a drug dealer, he uses his powers of persuasion to assist Detective Chloe Decker in apprehending the true culprit behind the murder. All the while, he must deal with his brother, the dark-winged angel amenadiel, who is putting pressure on him from their father to return to running hell after having abandoned the task for the past 5 years. Lucifer undergoes the legal procedure to become an official civilian consultant. With Chloe recovering from their last adventure, Lucifer takes the initiative to get the truth about the death of an actor's son from a paparazzo who has confessed to causing the car crash. During the case, Lucifer learns how Chloe abandoned acting due to the death of her father. The investigation reveals the paparazzo had a slightly disturbed intern, Josh, however, he took his boss's motto of always be first to take a photo too far and began instigating events and causing murders. Lucifer attempts to give a preview of the punishment both would get in hell, but is convinced by Chloe that they will pay for their crimes in jail. Lucifer attends the party of Virgin football player Ty Huntley, convincing him to accept a girl's invitation to sleep together. Lucifer is woken after a foursome by Ty, who asks for a favor. He calls in Chloe, revealing the girl was found dead. Her phone reveals footage of Ty and the victim having sex. Chloe arrests Ty on circumstantial evidence. His manager Joe bails him out and directs them Ty's ex Deborah. However, she has an alibi, plus an attempt on her life is traced back to Ronnie Hillman, a professional fixer. Lucifer uses the sting to capture Ronnie to bring in a man ruining his reputation by using his name. Ronnie reveals the victim was her protege, who was hired by Joe. Joe is arrested, revealing he accidentally choked the victim to death to get the footage to blackmail Ty into staying with his agency. Chloe and Lucifer investigate a missing persons case involving a girl, Lindsay Jolson, who was involved with a pickup artist. The investigation is complicated by Lucifer's repeated attempts to seduce Chloe in an effort to better understand her. Meanwhile, amenadiel confronts a reluctant Mazikeen about Lucifer. It's revealed Lindsay had in fact faked her kidnapping with her brother. Lindsay had met the pickup artist in the past, but it was research for his book. To make matters worse, she lost her virginity to him. She romanced him as revenge, getting him to genuinely fall in love. Chloe stops Lucifer from punishing them, briefly seeing his devil face reflected. At Lucifer's encouragement, Chloe shoots him in the leg. To Lucifer's bewilderment, he feels pain and bleeds. Chloe begs Lucifer to help her in a case involving an artist high-end shoe designer who was once in a street gang. In doing so, Lucifer knowingly puts himself in danger, finding it exciting to test his mortality. Turns out that the death at the shoe show was unintended. The designer intended to make her product seem more desired. However, this caused two law gangs to nearly start a war. Chloe and Lucifer attempt to defuse the situation, but end up saved by Maze, who hospitalizes all the gangsters. Meanwhile, amenadiel surprises Dr. Martin by showing up at her office after hours, stating he is a fellow psychotherapist who has just moved into the office next door. The two agree to have drinks and openly discuss patients. When the warehouse is robbed and the security guard murdered, it turns out that the stolen container belongs to Lucifer. He and Chloe then work to find the culprit, which Lucifer sees as protecting his reputation in the city. He vaguely also tells her that a gift from his father is inside, making it extremely valuable. Meanwhile, Lucifer continues to struggle with his identity, and amenadiel continues to try to use Dr. Martin to get to Lucifer. Lucifer and Chloe manage to track down the container, which Lucifer reveals contains a box filled with Russian dolls. However, the box is a bluff. On the other side is a secret compartment, which once contained Lucifer's angel wings, the gift he spoke of. For Lucifer, the case is not over. Lucifer continues the search for his wings and turns to amenadiel for help. Amenadiel rejects his entreaty at first, so Lucifer enlists Chloe to assist him. Meanwhile, Chloe asks Dan for help in investigating the Palmetto case, in the hopes that she can find something to confirm her suspicions against Malcolm, the cop who is in coma. The wings are apparently about to be sold at auction. Lucifer goes to the auction where amenadiel shows up to help Lucifer. Lucifer regains his wings, realizing amenadiel plotted a theft from the beginning. He invites him to the beach, where he lights the wings on fire. An anguished amenadiel watches, now unable to trick Lucifer back. Meanwhile, Chloe and Dan find a new lead on the Palmetto case. Feeling reborn, Lucifer celebrates his rebirth day at the Lux. And Malcolm, who wakes up from his coma, also celebrates his coming back. Chloe and Lucifer investigate the murder of a controversial therapist who advocates adultery as a means of saving relationships. Meanwhile, Lucifer shoehorns his own therapist, Dr. Linda Martin, into the case in an attempt to solve Chloe's issue with Dan. While solving the murder case, Lucifer realizes what is happening to him. Malcolm meets Chloe to explain that whoever shot him dead clearly does not have a problem shooting cops. Chloe and Lucifer then look for Malcolm's partner, but find him dead with a suicide note, while Dan mysteriously meets with Malcolm. Lucifer is surprised when he is asked for a favor by a priest named Frank Lawrence, however, he turns him away. Then they meet again when Chloe pulls Lucifer into a murder case involving Arietta, a youth counselor whom Frank said was trying to get Frank's foster son Connor involved with drug trafficking. After an attempt on Frank's life, Lucifer hides him at Lux, where they bond over the piano. Frank gets a call to meet Connor at the church, where new drug dealer Spider orders Connor to silence Frank. When he doesn't, Spider shoots and Frank takes the bullet. A furious Lucifer nearly kills Spider, but stops to honor Frank's memory. Meanwhile, amenadiel reminds Malcolm of the reason he brought him back from hell. To kill someone. Chloe and Lucifer investigate the poisoning death of Javier Aries, the chef-owner of an upscale Mexican restaurant whom Lucifer admires. Suspicion falls on Javier's son Junior, a recovering drug addict, and the South chef, Anne, who would inherit the restaurant if Junior was out of the picture. Things are complicated by the surprise arrival of Chloe's mother, Penelope Decker, whom Lucifer also really admires. At home, Chloe and Penelope argue about Trixie, causing Trixie to run away to find Lucifer, but she ends up making friends with Maze. Meanwhile, Malcolm reveals his plan to kill Lucifer to Dan, and Maze starts visiting Dr. Martin as a patient. Dan meets with Malcolm again, saying that he could not let Malcolm kill Lucifer, so they end up fighting, and Dan is knocked unconscious. After refusing to sleep with a drunk Chloe, much to both their surprise, Lucifer experiences a strange high. Believing benevolence and charity can give highs equal to drugs, Lucifer uses their current case in investigating the death of Tim Dunlear, a highly charitable man. Lucifer discovers Tim's wife embezzled funds from a charity to build a school in a third-world country and killed Tim to keep it secret. He hosts Tim's charity at Lux and outs her to the crowd. At the end, Lucifer discovers the high doesn't work unless he genuinely wanted to help someone. Amenadiel finds unlikely companionship. Meanwhile, Dan, held captive by Malcolm, tries to escape and warn Lucifer before Malcolm gets to him. When a member of a satanic church is killed, Lucifer is greatly disturbed that anyone would kill in his name. When it turns out that Malcolm is the one killing those people to honor him, Lucifer threatens torment, but then he is interrupted by Amenadiel, who allows Malcolm to run away. They start fighting each other until they are stopped by Mazikeen. Later, Chloe stops by the Lux to talk to Lucifer, but instead finds the dead body of the street preacher who was seen arguing with Lucifer on TV. Elsewhere, Lucifer's realization that Chloe makes him physically vulnerable leads to him becoming paranoid. Amenadiel saves Lucifer from being arrested by Chloe, and they go to Amenadiel's office to talk. Dr. Martin shows up and advises the brothers. They go looking for Malcolm, while Mazikeen helps Chloe hunt for Lucifer. Amenadiel finds Malcolm, they fight, and Malcolm wounds Amenadiel with one of Mazikeen's daggers. Mazikeen saves the dying Amenadiel with a feather she kept from Lucifer's wings. Dan turns himself in for helping Malcolm, clearing Lucifer of the murder. Chloe seizes Malcolm's money, and he kidnaps Trixie to force her to give it back. At the exchange, Lucifer is fatally shot when he intervenes to try and save Chloe and Trixie. Lucifer prays to God, offering to return to work for him if he saves Chloe. God restores Lucifer's powers and they kill Malcolm. A worried Lucifer tells Amenadiel that God has asked him to hunt for a soul who has escaped from hell, their mother.